Welcome back to the John Trading channel. You can see that Bitcoin is at this really strong support level and we've had multiple green bars pushing to the upside. Plus Ethereum is looking even more bullish than Bitcoin. Right through this area, we've never closed below this support level and you can see we're getting positive ticks on the MACD histogram. Plus I have a lot of crypto news to go through with you today, so make sure you stay tuned until the end of the video. If you haven't already, leave a like on the video, make sure you're subscribed and leave a comment if you're enjoying these daily crypto videos. Let's begin with some crypto news. The reality is most of you won't be patient enough to see the higher prices that are coming for Bitcoin. While bears shout for new lows in anger, smart investors are focused on the long-term view. Data says the bull market is here. This is only the beginning. This is the Bitcoin psychology heat map. You can see on this 2014 high for Bitcoin, Bitcoin will be the world's new money. Everyone will be rich. Then we have a decline. Oh, it's just a dip. We're all the way at the low. Oh, Bitcoin's dead. Then it goes up slightly. New lows are coming in. Then we get a little bit of a push higher. Oh, the top's already in. Bitcoin cannot die. Bitcoin will be the world's new money. Everyone will be rich. Then we go down slightly. This is just a dip. Then we get all the way to the low. Oh, Bitcoin's dead. We get a slight little rally. This is a sucker's rally. And you can see that the Bitcoin heat map psychology is just rinse and repeating. Every time we come down to these lows, everyone thinks it's just a sucker's rally and this is Bitcoin is dead. Every time we get to the top, everyone's saying Bitcoin will be the new world's money. You need to be smart with your investing and you cannot be emotional, as buying low and selling high is always going to be the #1 strategy when trading Bitcoin and cryptos. This is showing the exact same thing. Right now we're getting Bitcoin is over, Ethereum is done, government is killing crypto, DeFi and NFTs are all scams, altcoins are just Pepe and Grumpy Cat, AI cannot work with Web3. When you realize that 0 of these statements are true, you will enter the next level of your evolution. Justin, JP Morgan says the price of gold implies a $45,000 price for Bitcoin. And back on November 3rd of 2021, JP Morgan strategists have said that Bitcoin's fair value is 35K, but it could rise to 75K if volatility remains. And you can see that's exactly what happened in the past. And it shows as much as these JP Morgan strategists work for a bank, they definitely understand the underlying value of an asset and they can look at projections for the future saying that Bitcoin is basically expecting higher prices from here. Lastly, let's look at national debt of the United States as a percentage of GDP. You can see back in the 60s, back in the 80s, we were at this 40 to 30% level. Then we come into the 90s, we're at this 65 level. And look at where we are currently today. 2022, the US national debt as a percentage of nominal GDP was 120%, showing this is truly unsustainable in the market. The debt that we're incurring in the United States is basically more than the total GDP than they're pulling in as a country. It is just unsustainable. Before I move over to the price of Bitcoin and Ethereum, if you haven't already, leave a like on the video and make sure you're subscribed and leave a comment if you're enjoying these daily crypto videos. Here we can see this truly strong support level on Bitcoin. We've come down to this level multiple times and we recently just tried to close below this level, and we has this decently strong bullish trend bar to the downside, but we weren't able to close in this level. We've then begun to have some support and continue to push up on the upside as this daily bar has just closed only half an hour ago. We're trying to get these positive upticks in the MACD histogram. It's already happened for Ethereum, but you can see Bitcoin is trying to do the same thing. If we get one more bullish trend bar to the upside, you'll then see that this Bitcoin histogram will push above the 0 line, which will be continuing to show bullish momentum. Back here was the end of the 60-day cycle right on this bar in here. And you can see that it was right-hand translated at the end of the 60-day Bitcoin cycle. And we're nearly 2 weeks in, showing that we should have upside momentum coming very soon as the probability favors the bulls on this particular instance. But one thing that is holding us down is we're having this slightly downward sloping exponential moving average. And as I'm talking about, I have the short and medium term EMAs, and in between here is known as the value zone. You can see every single time we come into this area, we're getting some sells. And even last night, we had price just touch into this value area, and you can see we had just a tiny sell-off because there are algorithms using this short-term value zone. There's also a lot of traders seeing that they're going to buy low and their goal is to sell high since we've been in this trading range price action. The goal of a trading range is always to buy low, sell high, and scalp, not to hold positions for multiple weeks, multiple months. It's just to get in and out because the EMA, especially on the 4 hourly, is basically moving sideways. Let me show you that right now. Here in this area, you can see that we had that downward sloping EMA, which signals to us that shorts have the high probability up in these areas. But what's happened recently, we've basically been sideways on the EMA. We recently did make a bit of a low in this area here, but you can see what's happening today. We're starting to get back in that uptick. So we're basically in this wave pattern. We're basically sideways for the exponential moving average, which shows us that we are in that trading range price action. Back through these areas, people were buying low and then they were selling high in these areas, knowing that the EMA is sideways. They're not looking to buy low and then expect massive pushes to the upside. They're just knowing that they need to scalp since we're in a trading range. Buy low, sell high, and scalp is the goal of every single trading range. And even though we did push down into these areas, people are still expecting this trading range price action. They're buying in these areas. They're looking for retests up to the back onto the top of this zone, then looking for down again. So you can just expect that that's what's going to happen. But what we are really looking for to know if we're going to get that solid break to the up or downside is since these areas here, is a strong support zone, what we're going to need is a really strong break to the downside, then come back, retest this support zone. Once the support gets broken through, it acts as a resistance, then get that really solid push to the downside. But that hasn't happened yet. You can see that what we tried to do, we did get a bit of a break, but we didn't get that continued projection to the downside. I would have been looking to continue shorting in this area here, but we never got below that price. So it's showing that price is now having that bullish momentum. And you can see up here, when we have this resistance, what we're looking for is a break above resistance. Once we get that, price will come back, retest this. Since the resistance got broken through, it's going to act as a support level before we then look for massive moves to the upside at around that $32,000 per Bitcoin. Now coming over to the Ethereum daily chart, you can see in this area, we did have a bit of resistance. We pushed up, came back, retested. Once this resistance level got broken through, it then acts as a support level for these pushes to the upside. We're then supporting, and even in this zone, we've never closed below this support zone. This bar tried to close down, but instantly there was a lot of buyers pushing the price up. Every single time, we've never got a proper close below this support zone, which showed that there is a lot of bullish momentum. It's also shown in this MACD histogram as for the last 2 weeks, you can see that we've had continuous momentum to the upside. Even though it was below this zero line through here, we were having these positive upticks on the MACD histogram, and then eventually we got above the zero line, which shows that there is a lot more buying volume than there is selling volume. There's a lot of people buying and selling every day, but the majority are actually beginning to buy. The scales are tipping into the buy zone, and you can see that on the MACD histogram. That's exactly what it actually signals to us. So we're in this area. We have tried to get pushes to the upside. You can see that we're currently in this value zone. And what we really need to do is get this solid break above, come back, retest this area. Since it's quite a strong resistance level in this area, we need this break above. We'll come back and retest. Once resistance gets broken through, it will act as support zone, and then we get that massive rocket all the way up to potentially $2,300 per Ethereum, and that's really what I'm looking for on the trade. Until then, I'm just buying low, selling high, and scalping since we're in that trading range price action. Let's now zoom into the 4 hourly chart on Ethereum. Again, you can see this EMA is moving sideways. Through in this area, it was slightly up, then it's slightly down. Now we're slightly up again, and you can see that we're in this trading range price action. People are buying low, selling high, and also scalping. We try to have a break below this area. We never got a break below. We try to break above this area where I was actually looking for longs, and if we'd come down, retest this area, I was looking for longs right above this bar, but you can see price never reached there, so my long position was never entered in the market. All the way through here, people are buying in these areas and they're selling in these areas. You can see that what we really need to wait for is that solid break above or below these zones. Since this is quite a strong resistance level and this is quite a strong support level, we're going to need to see strong breaks above or below. We're going to need a big break below. then we'll come back and retest this support zone which broke through. It will then act as resistance before we then continue to the downside. What I also want to see is a strong break to the upside, then come back, retest this resistance zone, now acting as support as it got broken through, and then we get that massive continued momentum to the upside. We just haven't seen that yet. We're still in that trading range price action. We're still moving sideways in the price. Every time we come up to these areas, people are selling. Every time we come down in these areas, people are buying, and they're just scalping because the EMA is showing that sideways trading range action. If you haven't already, leave a like on the video, make sure you're subscribed, and leave a comment if you're enjoying these daily crypto videos. That's all I have for you for today. I will keep you updated, especially on my Twitter or on my next YouTube video, as we try to break either above or below this zone. It's definitely going to happen in the next few days, so stay tuned to all of my videos. I'll see you in the next one.